What's going on, everybody? Want to get into some sports logic, talking about these Detroit Pistons and how they have come a long way. And when they started ground up and back to when the fans wanted to talk about selling the team, and that's when they came from rock bottom on up to the next season. They got a 6 seed and realized that they were playoff contenders. And even though they were 6 seed in the playoffs the next season and got dumped out by the New York Knicks in the first round, knowing they got some more work to do, the next season came with a flash, and now they are not only contenders, they're first seed. They are playing Detroit basketball. They have a superstar risen in CADE Cunningham. They also have Jalen Duren playing big man basketball. They also have a fight in Isaiah Stewart, who has been with them strong for the past 5-6 years. They have backup slayers coming off the bench, shooters, snipers, and Duncan Robinson. They have a good second options like Mr. Jenkins, also Mr. Holland. Also, they have a great coach in JB Bickerstaff and plenty of others for 12 to 15 man roster. But just going more in depth with the previous injury of CADE Cunningham with this collapsed lung. When this all occurred, everybody thought that it was over. They were recently at trying to get a 53 plus win to conquer and concrete a 1 seed, as well as keep the Eastern Conference under a hold and threaten that Eastern Conference, yet alone be contenders. So they continued on to win that game against the Wizards. And as I looked at the continuous of this Wizards game, after this Wizards game, they had the Warriors, the Lakers, the Hawks, the Pelicans, the Wolves, Thunder, Raptors, Wolves, Sixers, who they just recently played, and 4 games left. But that didn't seem to bother them. So, my question to you is, can they win 60 games without CADE? Well, to show recently after the collapsed lung of CADE Cunningham, they continue to win. They're human, but they continue to win. They're telling the fans, they're telling the critics, they're telling the commentators, hey, that doesn't matter. We're going to continue to do our job. We're going to continue to play defense. We're going to continue to play basketball because we know we're going to get our star back. The Pistons went on to play the Wizards again. They won. They went on to play the Warriors. They won. They went on to play the Lakers, and they won. They played the Hawks. Unfortunately, they lost, but then got themselves back together because I believe after a hard loss becomes a fortunate win. And they beat the Pelicans. They went on to play the Wolves, and they won again. So next was the Thunder. And everybody thought that, oh, that's a blowout. They're playing the defending champs. They're playing a reigning MVP, a reigning finals MVP, and the reigning champs, just like I said. And I was going to not even tune into that game because I thought that, hey, my conscience was telling me, go ahead and tune in, but I was like, I don't know. But I tuned in, and lo and behold, without CADE Cunningham, without Isaiah Stewart, without Jalen Durham, we were actually 5 men short and played with about 8, 9 men. I'll say about 10 men. 10 men reserved, 10 men available. And we took them by far, ladies and gentlemen. Pistons held in. We were almost blowed out by 10 points going into the half. But we almost had that game. We almost held that game. We didn't get blown out. We took the lead. And they only shut us down by 4. SGA played. Dort was in the game. Chet was in the game. Jalen was in the game. SGA had a nice game. I think he put up for 40 plus. That was a nice game for SGA. And it was a good game for the Pistons. But Pistons also threatened the Thunder. But I'll give it to the Thunder. They did beat us. But that also stood for the Pistons. That we are still contenders. And we possibly can still tell the Thunder, we can see you in the finals. So with that loss, like I said, with an unfortunate loss comes a great untouchable win. And next, we saw the Raptors won again, saw the Wolves won again, and we saw the Sixers and won again. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. 11 games without CADE Cunningham, and we only lost 2 times, ladies and gentlemen. 9 wins and 2 losses. 9-2. And we have 4 games left. We got the Magic, the Bucks, the Hornets, and the Pacers. We have 2 potential playoff teams that are playing teams that we could see in the first round. 2 potential playoff teams that we could see in the first round. So the question I'm asking is, do we really need CADE in the first round to see the Magic or the Hornets? My question is no. My question is no. Let CADE get his rest. Since we have managed this far without CADE. Not saying that we don't need him. We need CADE. We've had CADE for this long ride. We have come this far by faith. I learned in the church. And done a tremendous job. But these last 11 games without CADE, we've shown that we can do it. With or without him. So we can test ourselves in the first round. We don't need to rush to get CADE back. So with this game tonight against the Magic, we can hypothetically say, let's test ourselves and act like this is a game one first round against the AFC, if they are the AFC. The Magic I'm speaking of. Let's act like we don't have CADE for the first round and we are going against the AFC. and act like we got some sense. It was good to see Cade on the bench, rooting for us, acting like assistant coach, acting like he was an example of a leader on the bench, because with that collapsed lung, he hasn't been even in sight, but he was in sight the last couple of games. So that means he can be active, because sources say that he has to be re-examined for another week. So that means he possibly, and this is upset me now, that he was a potential MVP candidate, but now he can't be voted and he has to miss all NBA awards as well as MVP awards. So he can't get those awards, and he most likely can't finish the rest of the season. But that doesn't put the Pistons out for playoff contention, because we grabs the first seed and we do have home court advantage in the first round, and Cade can show up. But the season isn't over. We want 60 games. We need 60 games. So like I said, Cade, get your rest. But we can do this without you. So we face the Magic tonight. Good that we have Duran. Believe Isaiah Stewart can't come back with that calf strain, but I believe that he is scheduled to play. It's a game time decision. Hope that Mr. Jenkins ain't janky. He's been showing off. He's been showing his true colors. Duncan Robinson, I need you to snipe with some good shots. I need some defense. And recently on the injury report, Tobias Harris, I know things have been a little bit striving. I know the Sixers fans has been booing you ever since you left Philly. But it's now you Detroit, man. You red, white, and blue Patriot Detroit style, man. Pass that off. Get that out your head now. You have 1 seed now. You're with us now, man. So it's kind of like showing you now, Pistons, you have the Magic, who's in the playoffs. Then you face the Bucks, who's like exhibition scrimmage like, but then you gotta face more. You gotta face seriousness when you get to the Hornets. And then last game is the Pacers. So this means don't take anything for granted. Be serious these last 4 games, because we need all the games we can get when it comes April 18th. Take these 4 games serious. There's 3 things that I need the Pistons to do. Get 60 wins. Take these next 4 games serious. And if Cade, like I said, most likely is going to be out the rest of the season, and most likely the first round, don't take these first round of 7 games. The most, make it 6 games. I'm gonna see y'all tonight. Like, share, and subscribe.